What's up? I wanted to touch a little bit tonight on just getting back to the basics of how do you explain this, this type of gospel or the ways of God to a child? Like, what is the very basic explanation of this? And it goes back to the good. There's a good and the bad, and if bad does bad to good, and then good does bad to bad, then bad wins, because bad has overtaken good. And so it's our responsibility to try and do good to bad, to make good. We believe that by doing good to bad is the only way that bad will start becoming good. And that's a very basic way of looking at it. And everything does really stem from that story. And so a lot of it has to do with means and ends. We believe in the means or the way we do things are sometimes more important than the actual objectives of what we're trying to seek. The way we do things, the not forcing things. And violence is the supreme act of forcing things. You're trying to force something in this dimension of time and space. And so that's why we believe in nonviolence, because we don't have to force things. We believe that the means of doing things in a peaceful way, in a way where we're within the spirit. This means is an actual objective. So the means become the objective many times. Just the way we do things becomes the objective. And then the objective just will grow. The objective will grow based on the means that you practice on a daily basis, on an hourly basis. And so just remaining in the spirit is the most important thing. And we talk a lot about victim mentality and creator mentality. And so if, based on this story of good and bad and trying to do good to bad and making bad become good through good, then we must be the creators. We must be the creators, and we must look within to obtain that. We must look within for inspiration, for the light to come from within, not without. We don't look for it externally, because when we start looking for it externally and start seeking it, then we become dependent on external things, and we need things to be good. And we don't need anything. We don't need anything. Consciousness is already that. And so that the non-reliance on the external world to bring about that state of peace that you need, and then going about in the external world in that spirit. And so we try to leave the victim behind. The victim is always reliant upon external factors, and the victim needs violence because it relies on external factors, and it uses violence to obtain its ways that it thinks will make things better for him, or whatever that the objective is of violence. The means are always incorrect. So, victim versus creator, not relying on the external, relying on the internal. That's the how. How do we do that? How do we become the light and not be affected by negative influences from the external world? Is we have to go within, and that's where God is. I mean, God. That's what, the kingdom of God is within, right? That's what we've been taught, and it is within. It's innate. It's something that you've been given as a gift, but you have to really shut out the external world and really seek it within. And you need time for yourself. You need time alone of peace. It's something you have to work on. It's not something that just comes automatically. You have to, it's not so much as work, but it's just time. You have to give it time. It's not really a job like work. It's more like just give it time. Just like anything you want to perfect, you have to give it time. And so that consciousness within, for it to develop into a being of love, of light, of all these positives, right? Of patience, of kindness. We have to develop that internally, right? And so in today's world, we're always looking for external stimulus, right? From everything, from the phone, from the food, from the this, from the that, to make us feel good, to make us. Everything's always external. We're bombarded with external things, and so, and that's where addictions come from and everything, and so yeah, that's so back to basics. It's a simple concept that even a kindergartner can understand. And they can understand it because I teach my kindergartner that, and they understand it. And it's quite kind of obvious for them. Even though all of the cartoons kind of teach the opposite. Not all of them, but most of them. So just wanted to leave you with that back to basics thought. Just a different perspective on the same theme. So we'll see you all tomorrow.